Hello there, guys and girls, and welcome back to Valhaven. This is now episode 5 of our Let's Play series. I just want to say before we kick on a massive thank you to all the support that we've had on the channel this week. It's genuinely been overwhelming. Please continue to get those likes, subscribes, and comments coming in. I love hearing from all you guys. So yeah, I'm glad this community is beginning to grow, and I'm looking forward to the future as well. So yeah, so with that in mind, the first thing I wanted to go through today is a quick update on our district. So in light of some of our recent subscribers, I've started naming some of the districts and their connected industry areas. So we have Musa Gardens here in the eastern side of the island, with Musa Farms connected. We also have the town of Havelka, up in the northern part of town, and then over in the west we have, I'm sincerely apologize if I butcher this, but Medeiros, over in the west. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed so far. So I do have a few others, so as we build the town out as well, we will continue naming after our fantastic subscribers. But yeah, for now we've started off with this. Oh, and just to mention as well, we have Havelka Timber hanging off the northern town of Havelka. Cool. So again, I apologize as well if you have subscribed and I haven't seen your name. It seems some people have subscribed privately, so I don't actually see your name come up. So if you have subscribed and I don't mention your name, maybe just make it public on the app and I will see that and name it going forward. Cool. So what are we going to be up to today? So I want to kick off with this middle part of town. So if we look back on what we've done previously, we started off here in the east with our little village. We connected the farm over on the eastern side of this eastern village. We then moved north and created what is now the town of Favelka. We created the small hillside church graveyard view, which I'm sure everyone was very appreciative of. And then we moved into the Havelka timber yard, which we'll continue to build. We've got all this space here to continue building the timber yard, but for now we're keeping that as a small town vibe. It's just going to tick over doing what we need it to do temporarily. And then last time out, we moved into the western side of the island, where we are building out our new town, which will eventually come up into this area and all the way around here, and then eventually into a small harbour that will sit in this little bay, and then like some parks, etc., all dotted around. So yeah, so the focus today is going to be on this central area where we want to build a town centre that also has some transport options within it, so we can start getting some buses and maybe some trams coming through the area. But then also we want a small sort of local sports complex, so maybe some football, soccer pitches, maybe a cricket pitch, etc. We'll see what we've got available. And how our money does, obviously. But yeah, as I say as well, we'll also be expanding the western side of the island as demand grows. Cool, so let's dive in, shall we? So we've got relatively high demand for residential at the moment and a medium demand for commercial and industrial. So I think we're quite happy with where we are. So I think we just dive in and start building in this central space. Cool. So as I say, I want to build a town centre vibe. So to begin with, I just want to get our frames in. So we're going to continue with what we were doing with our rural roads, just to give us that frame that we're looking for. And I just want to come somewhere relatively central, but I don't want to really be aligned to the other roads that we've got in. So I just want to find some sort of spot that's going to give us a good position to work with. So I think we'll start here. I think this is going to give us plenty of room. And then what I want to do is come out by 30, and then up by 20, out by 30 again, and then down by 20 again. And what that's going to do is just going to give us this nice, perfect rectangle in which we can build our town centre vibe. So I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. And then what I want to do is have a look at some assets to start bringing into this town centre. So I've got an asset in mind to kind of sit right at the front of the central area, and that is this friendly neighbourhood park. So because we've worked in increments of 10, we now kind of have this perfect central area for this to sit in. So it's obviously going to cost us 20,000, so it's quite expensive, but we'll gain that money back quite quickly. So yeah, this is a really nice asset. So it's going to cost us 320 a week to maintain, but we're currently making about 2,500, so we've got plenty of scope to bring that in. But positively, it's going to bring in 120 entertainment points. So yeah, our existing residents are going to get a lot of entertainment out of this asset. Cool. So I want to bring that in central. So that's just going to sit at the very front of this new town centre vibe. So you'll imagine later on when we upgrade this into a 4-lane road, one of the first things you see as you enter the town from the roundabout is this lovely park with these absolutely awful vanilla trees. But on top of that, you've got this nice gazebo area and a nice little seating area with a park. You can imagine perhaps in the summer, you come here, sit and have some lunch and a few drinks with some friends, and the kids can play, and everyone's having a really nice time. So yeah, so that's going to kind of kick off this vibe. I am just going to turn it off for now, because obviously the roads aren't connected, so no one can actually get to it, and it's just going to cost us money sitting there idle. Cool. So the next thing I want to do is bring in a road around it. So I'm going to come up by 9, I think is going to be the perfect spot. Yeah, out by 10 and then down by 9 again. So create that perfect square around this asset. So again, we will update these roads very shortly. I'm just doing this now so I can get the general outline. And then what I want to do is come out by 4 units either side and then all the way up and connect in. And obviously the same on this side. And the reason I want to do that is to create this sort of segregated rectangle at the top here, because I then have another asset in mind, which is this, so the tax office. So the tax office, I mean, it says it here, but civil servants work tirelessly in the tax office to optimize the taxes to your liking. So yeah, it's obviously a place where people can come to work and deal with the city's taxes. So it obviously doesn't function in that way. No one actually comes and works here, but anyway, we'll assume they do. So similarly to the park we just entered, that is 320 upkeep per week, but now we're earning. I mean, it goes between sort of 2,500, 4,500, so we've got plenty of scope to bring this in. But again, similar to the park, we get a decent entertainment rise on this, so we get 50 entertainment. So already our town centre is going to be a really good place for our citizens to come and visit. So once again, because we've worked in those increments, sort of even increments, we've got this nice central position for the tax office, and this is going to work really nicely along with that park to create that sort of vibe that we're after. So you get the feeling that this kind of fits into the lore of the area. So the settlers would have come in over here into Musa Gardens. They would have settled, built their farms up, maybe moved over to the north into Havelka first, and then started their industries, and then built this town centre as kind of like, as I said previously, the meeting place between the towns. And then over time, Medeiros kind of was developed as well, and again it became another sort of town or village that was able to use the central area to meet with the other residents. So yeah, it kind of fits into the lore, and I think it's going to look really cool for the vibe that we are going for. Cool. So again, I'm just going to turn that off for now, because look, no, it's not connected in, and it's just going to cost us money sitting idle. Okay, so I think that is going to be really good for now. As we get to our detailing time lapse, I'm going to detail this up with some nice little pathways and trees, etc. But for now, I think we focus on getting a connection in. So what I want to do is, again, using our rural roads, I'm just going to come off the road guideline quickly. I want to come out by 10 here, and then also come out by 10 on this side, and then grab my freeform tool, come out very randomly, create a tiny little curve, come back onto my road guidelines, and the curve road tool, find that guideline and connect in. And again, what that creates is this nice curve into what is our town centre. So again, this is sort of very straight lines over here. So using this curve just breaks up that monotony of the straight lines, and just gives an added dimension to the area. Cool. So now that we've got these 4 points plugged in to our roundabout, what we can now do is delete these anchors that we added in previously, because now the shape of the roundabout won't be impacted by us having roads coming off of it. And it will stop people sort of going over the roundabout, because we don't want people doing that. Cool. So I think that's going to be good for now. We will get these plugged in and added to very shortly. But what I want to do is focus on this high residential demand that we have going on, because we've got a lot of money in the bank, but I'm going to need more for the transportation hubs that we're going to be bringing in. And also the park areas that are going to sit over in this zone. So I want to build out Medeiros very quickly, and just give us a bit more space to bring people in, and also get those taxes coming in. So what I want to do is, I don't want to use that road. I want to bring out almost like a second connector, and I'm just going to come up by 20 for now. And then I'm going to grab this space here, and then come out by, where do I want to come to? I think I'm going to come out by 15, no, forgive me. I am going to come out by 20, but I'm going to turn my road guidelines off so we don't mess up our zonings. And then I'm just going to come straight in and connect back into this connector road here. So we're going to do something with this area very shortly. There isn't going to be residents in here, but I just wanted a nice sort of space to work with initially. Cool. So I think what we want to do is expand on this side first. So if I continue to bring this out, I just want to come out by 5 by now, and then I think we're going to come all the way down into here, and then grab our freeform tool and connect this road in. So we've now got this sort of straight area over here, and then just to make sure our zonings aren't completely broken, I'm going to quickly destroy this road, and then bring this all the way up, and then all the way down, so we get a nice sort of zoning pattern in this area. And then what we can do is just rezone this as residential, rezoning in. I don't want to rezone there. I want to actually get rid of that residential zoning, because that's going to be on what is effectively a main road, but I do want to bring the residents back in here, and then I'm quite happy to have some small residential areas up against this road as well, and also over here. But I think that's going to do us for now. So again, as we mentioned in, I think it was the last episode, you don't want to zone your residential areas too quickly, because what you'll end up with is huge death waves very quickly, and then you'll have your city will pretty much crumble, because you'll just have all your citizens die and your taxes will reduce. You'll have no workers, etc., etc. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that nice and slow. Cool. So while those homes are growing in, I want to focus on this little square that we created here. So if we look at the rest of the town and come back over to Musa Gardens, obviously I think this was our first episode and maybe reaching into the second episode, we built this small schooling complex over here. So we've got our elementary school with the small playground. We've got our high school with the tennis courts sitting aside it. And this is kind of like our first schooling campus, but it's the only school area that is actually servicing the whole town at the moment. So we're going to probably need to bring more schools in. So if we have a quick look in our education tab, we can see that our elementary school is, I mean, it's on the edge of amber and green at the moment. So we're kind of at a point where we're probably going to need to start thinking about more education. So you'll see we've got 274 Sims eligible for elementary schooling, and we've got a capacity of 300, but as I say, we're kind of on that edge of needing more, so I think we're just going to bring a new elementary school in at this point. If we look at our high schools, we're quite happy with the capacity in there at the moment. So we're right at top of the green. We've got 535 eligible citizens at the moment with 1,200 capacity. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about a high school in Medeiros. We will just focus on the elementary school at the moment. Cool. So if we come back into Medeiros and immediately notice that we haven't given our new residents water. So if we just quickly fix that before we move on. Once again, I apologise to the people who love putting their water pipes under the roads. In future series, we will likely do that again. But for now, we're just sticking with the standard piping. Cool. So in this small square here or rectangle here, I want to build another elementary school. So we've got a few options. So we've already used the elementary school from the European pack, which is a very nice aesthetic look for the area. But I want to use something different. So what other options do we have available? So we've got the vanilla elementary school that came out 8 years ago now. So this will provide us 300 capacity for our students. It's going to cost 10,000 to place and 160 a week to maintain. I don't mind this asset, but I do prefer this one. So this is the community school. So you get slightly less capacity. So the student capacity is 250 on this one rather than 300. It's also more expensive. So it's 2,000 more expensive to place, and it's 240 a week upkeep. So it's a lot more expensive than the standard one, and we get less for it, but I much prefer the look and feel of this one. So I think we're just going to go with this for Medeiros's elementary school. So I want to place this in here, but I don't just want to dump it up against a road. So what we're actually going to do, and I'm going to use a larger road for this one. I say larger than the rural roads, but a standard 2-lane road. And for now, I'm just going to stick with the 2-lane road with the wide sidewalks. But eventually this will be upgraded into possibly a nice little number with some trees. And I just want to create a small road coming off of this road where our school can sit, and you'll see once I place it, this just gives it an additional look rather than being sort of on the edge of a road. It just gives it an additional vibe that this is like an important building, this is a place where people go. Once we decorate this up a little bit, it's going to look really nice just sitting off this main road. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with having that there. And then what we want to do is give our students in our elementary school a place to come and play. So I think we want to use the large playground asset, which is obviously a larger area for us to use. And I'm actually going to go over here, and I'll explain later why I do that. So I'm going to come into what is effectively a connector road. But our playground's going to sit on there. Oh, my apologies. So you'll see the school kind of sits here. We've then got this nice little path that generates off of the park asset into our park. So people are now going to be able to walk across this road. There will eventually be a crosswalk or a zebra crossing in here. So people will be able to walk through and straight into the elementary school, which sits on here. So the other thing that we haven't really spoken about so far is parking. So up until very recently, parking in vanilla city skylines was more or less non-existent. The only way we could get any sort of parking in our cities was through some of the assets that we see, but also through is it the green cities commercial assets? Depending, you could place your assets in a certain way to develop these features that look like parking. But they weren't effectively, they were just commercial assets, but they did look like parking. But it would take you an age to sit and try to generate these assets to look like you've got some parking in your city. But more recently, as we got through the one of the latest content creator packs, we were blessed with some vanilla parking. So we've now got the large decorative parking lot and a smaller version. So the smaller version, if I click it, is 2x4. So quite a nice little asset in small areas. But then you've also got the larger, what is it? I think this is 8x4. So yeah, a larger asset if you've got the space. But what I want to do in here, this is obviously somewhere where people are going to come, drop their kids off, etc., etc. So I just want to bring in a couple of little car parks into this area. And again, we will decorate this up soon so that it doesn't look as sort of, it doesn't stand out as much as it is at the moment. But yeah, I kind of just want this so people can come, park up, drop their kids off at school, maybe leave their car there, come and look into one of the shops for a little while, and then come back and pick it up later, so on and so forth. But yeah, I think having some parking in the city or in Medeiros individually is going to be a quite nice feel. So yeah, this is just going to service that education need. So if we look at our elementary capacity now, we've got a capacity of 550 with eligibility of 311. So we're more or less, I mean, we're just shy of half eligible. So yeah, I think we're in a good place. We're back in the green at least, so everyone's going to be happy with that. Cool. So before we move on and back into our town centre, I just want to check these and make sure we historicalized all of these buildings. We've actually got 2 big bites now in this area. I don't want 2 big bites. Oh, he is upgrading though, so what are we going to get? That was good timing, wasn't it? Yeah, I think we're going to be quite happy with that. Aside from the billboards, so if you didn't see my video recently about things that I don't want to see in City Skylines 2, billboards was one of them. I mean, you'll see on pretty much all of these assets in here, I've got massive billboards all over them. I hate them. I just can't stand them at all. They just don't look good. So yeah, I'll link that video down below, but that is one thing I really don't want to see repeated in City Skylines 2. But anyway, I am going off piste. Cool. So Medeiros is going to slowly build up now. So we've got our residents coming in. We'll come back to this very shortly and add a few more. But for now, I want to come back to our town centre. And before we move on to transport, I want to quickly build in our frame for what will be our sports park. So I just want to bring in a diagonal road over here and hope that I've given myself enough space, and then come into our parks and plazas, and over to our content creator packs. And if we scroll down, we can see all of these fantastic sports fields over here. So we've got soccer fields or football fields in the UK. We've got some Australian football fields, baseball, big baseball community complex, which is going to look really cool in like a midtown vibe. We've got some American football fields. So I'm a big fan of American football, so we're definitely going to be using these over here. Up the G-Men, if there's any American football fans watching. And we've got some cricket pitches. So again, I'm not a big fan of cricket, but in the UK it is obviously a big sport. So because we're going to have quite a European vibe over here, I think we will lay some cricket pitches in this area as well. So the first asset I've got in mind here is this small soccer field. So this is a very sort of local football soccer field. It's got that sort of local vibe. It's kind of the exact vibe that I would have when I was growing up, sort of soccer field or football field that I would go to as a kid. So this is something I want to get a couple of these into the city ASAP. So they're relatively cheap. So it's 3,500 to lay and 40 a week to upkeep. So we've got plenty of scope to have this in our city. But again, the positive thing here is we get 150 entertainment. So we're going to get some really good entertainment stats from this area. So what I want to do is bring it into this space. But I actually want them facing one another. So I'm going to bring a road through the middle and again hope that I've given myself enough space to work with. I think I might want to come down by one. So if I come out of here and bulldoze this, I'm just going to come back in and do our diagonal road again, in like that, and then I want to bring our road back up. We will tidy this up very shortly. I just want to make sure I've got the right diameters. Cool. So yeah, one soccer field is going to sit in there quite nicely and the other directly opposite. So immediately you've got this vibe. So again, if you're coming in off this roundabout, you've got these sports fields over here. Once these have got some nice fences around them, some paths going in and out, some other stuff sort of encircling the fields. This is going to look really good, and it's going to be the exact sort of vibe that I was looking for the area. So I think we'll leave that as is for the time being. They are going to need water and electricity. So I'm just going to delete that road and then bring this road up and across, and then I want to circle this like so. And can we do the same over this side? Potentially. I'm not actually going to do that because I think once we upgrade these roads, we're not going to have enough space. So yeah, I think we're going to be quite happy with that for now. And then on this corner, I want to bring this out by 10 and then come back into our parks. And this time I want to grab the suburban cricket pitch and put this right in the middle here. So again, this will eventually be connected in here somewhere, perhaps over here. But right at the end of this road, you've got the cricket pitch, you've got the football pitches along here. I think that's just going to be a nice little vibe for like a local sports area. And then there's two more assets I've got my eye on. So these are obviously from the new content creator packs that we've had released to us recently. But we've had in the vanilla game for some time now the basketball court, for instance. So I want to bring a basketball court in as well. Because look, who doesn't like a good game of basketball? So you can come in and play your basketball. And then the other asset will be the tennis courts. So I want to leave a few gap and then have the tennis courts. So again, this is just looking really good already. So you've got the football pitches over here. You've got this, people already playing tennis. I'm not quite sure how because they're not actually connected to anything, but they've got in here somehow. People over here playing basketball. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with this vibe, and it is exactly what I was looking for. So we just need to connect this up. So what I want to do is with this space that we left over here, I want to bring this road in and come out by 5, and then I want to grab our freeform tool and then just connect into this road like so. And then I want to just tidy this one up very slightly and bring it out to there, just so we're kind of getting that connection into the path that encircles the cricket pitch. But I don't really want this to connect over here because these roads would be too close together. We'll also tidy this road up at some point as well, but I think this is just going to be quite a nice vibe. So you can imagine driving in and then you've got all this sports complex over here. Once we put some trees and stuff in, this is going to look really, really good. Cool. So I think everyone's going to be very, very happy with what we are doing so far. So let's get some electricity into this area. Is that going to connect everyone up? It is. Lovely. Cool. And then we want to get some water. So we should have a perfect space here now. Oh, we're going to have a bit of a gap, but we can live with that. That's fine. Forgive me while I mess around with water pipes. Perfect. Cool. So now everyone's going to be connected. Cars are going to start coming in using these little areas. I'm thinking possibly over here a nice, well, I say a parking lot area, so people can come over and park up and then go and play their sports. But yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy. Cool. So the next thing that I want to do is bring another dirt road in through here. And now we're going to start moving into transport. So I've not actually decided where I want my tram lines to go yet. So I'm going to bring the trams in, but we're not actually going to build any tram roads into the city yet. We'll probably do that next episode once we figure out sort of where we want trams to run and the layout of this sort of 4-lane road that's going to sit along here. But what I'm thinking is we're probably going to have this be like a one-way tram road. And then trams will be able to sort of encircle the town centre area. But eventually it will come out, maybe go over this roundabout into Medeiros, down into our park, which is going to sit over here. So we'll have a nice sort of tram stop around this area, and then it can come through. And then I'm thinking eventually using this hill here to have like a coastal road that doesn't really have anything sitting on it, but it's going to be an opportunity for sort of trams and cars to use a more like a coastal area to travel through the city and maybe get over into Havelka, and potentially coming all the way through into Musa Farms. But anyway, that is much down the line, but that's kind of the thought process that I've got at the moment. So what I'm going to do, to allow us to kind of get the feel for where we're going to have all of these roads fitting in, I do want to bring in, if I can find it, our tram depot. So I'm going to place that in there. And I don't know about you, but I really like the tram depot. I think it's got a really nice vibe, and I think it's going to fit in quite well with our town centre vibe that we've got. So you can look at it from this area. I think that is kind of, it fits in really nicely with the area that we're working with. And eventually as well, once we've got the highway coming through here, and people can drive through the town, you're going to have this view of the tram depot as you're coming across the highway, which again I think is going to be quite a nice vibe. So yeah, for now, we're just going to turn this off, because we're not actually going to build the tram roads in today. But we've got it there, we've spent the money, so we know that we've accounted for it, and eventually that will become active. But what we are going to build in is our bus depot. So we've got this here, and I actually just want to delete this road and then bring this up and circle the tram depot. So that's going to be encircled like that. And then if we look at our bus assets that we've got two options. So we've got the standard vanilla bus depot. So this is 30,000 to place and 720 a week to maintain. It has got some noise pollution, so you don't really want to put this anywhere near any residences. Same with the tram depot, but we're obviously in a town centre vibe. Or we've got the biofuel bus depot, which is more expensive, so it's 10,000 more to place, and 960 a week to maintain, so it's a lot more expensive, but it does produce less noise pollution. So I do actually quite like the biofuel bus depot, sorry, and the buses that come with it. However, I think we're going to stick with the vanilla bus depot for now, because you get so many more options, and I think it's just going to suit our needs, especially this early in the game. Cool. So what I want to do is not just place this here on the edge of this road. What I want to do is come out here with another little side road and then come back into our bus depot, and then place him on there like so. So we've got this kind of transport hub, if you will, generating over in this area. So we've got obviously our tram depot that's going to eventually push trams out, and then our bus depot is just going to sit here, looking all bus depot-y, in this area. So yeah, I think that's going to be quite a nice vibe. Yeah, so this won't actually act as like a depot. Buses won't come back in here for servicing or anything. It's just going to push the buses out initially, and then they're going to go out and distribute themselves around the city. Cool. So the next thing we want to do is just make sure that we hook everyone up so everyone's happy with electricity. Eventually we will have more stuff in here to connect all of this together. But for now, I think we're going to be quite happy just having these power lines running through. Cool. So what we want to do now is get some buses into our city. So if we select our bus line, so what we want to do is think of transport in a hierarchical view. So, and what I mean by that is you consider your lowest form of transport, which in this scenario would be your buses, as your most commonly used transport method for a smaller area. So what you want to do is have your bus stops often across smaller areas, whereas as you get into the upper end of the hierarchy, so your trains, for example, your metro lines, you would have less stops, stops less often throughout the city. So where you might have a bus stop once every 2 blocks, a train stop, for instance, might be once every town, or once every part of your city. So we're really going to try and think about that when we're laying our bus stops. So we're going to start over in Musa Gardens. So we're obviously using right-hand drive. So I want to just place these sort of once every couple of blocks, just so people can start getting around our city. and then connect themselves up to their places of work or where they want to go shopping, etc., etc. So I think what we're going to do is bring this through here like so. Yeah, you can connect in there, and then for now just connect up like that. So I want to select our model. So we're not going to need masses of buses in this area. So I think we're going to go for this sort of old town vibe bus. And then I think we're going to go for a black bus type in this area. And I'm just going to name this the Musa Gardens line for over in Musa Gardens. Cool. So that's going to be our first bus line. Now, eventually we will expand these buses and we're going to have like a more of a bus hub sitting in here. So each bus line will kind of come into the town centre, connect and then leave and go back into their own areas. But for now, we're laying the foundations for that to happen further down the line once we've unlocked it. So now we just kind of want to get people moving around their individual areas. So we're going to do another one over here in Havelka. Cool. So as I say, once every couple of blocks. For the Havelka line, I'm actually going to bring this in to our forestry area. So I don't really need to stop there. So I think we'll just come straight in. And then I want to use this bit here for a couple more stops. And then bring him back into Havelka. We want to come through here, and then do we do one? No, I think we just come in and connect up here. So again, I want to name this the Havelka line. Perfect. So I like to keep all my lines named just so I can understand who's going where. And then I want to make this one sort of like a racing green color. I think that's going to look quite nice. Cool. So we've got our first couple of bus lines in. I'm not going to put one in Medeiros yet because eventually the town of Medeiros will be built out a bit more. So I'm going to wait. But yeah, eventually I will put a bus line into Medeiros as well. I'm also thinking once we've got this sort of transit hub in here, we're going to do something really cool with the connections and make sure everyone's hooked up. So yeah, I think eventually that is going to look really good. So now we'll just see these buses sort of coming out and everyone's going to be quite happy seeing their buses come through. So yeah, they're just going to go out into the city now, start distributing. It will clog up the roads for a short time. But yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. Cool. So let's head back over into Medeiros. And then we want to just continue this town out. So we've now got this school over here. So let's grab our rural roads again. I want to bring you up by another 10. And then I want to, what do I want to do here? So I want to come up here. You'll see we've got like a bit of a dip in the land here. So I want to come up by 10. Actually, no, we're going to do 11. And then across by 11. And then connect in like so. And then on this side, I think we're just going to do a nice 11 all the way down. So I'm not adverse to having like aspects of grids here, there and everywhere, but I just don't like mass gridding. Nothing against it if that's your style of gameplay. It's just not for me, I'm afraid. Cool. So again, we don't want to zone everywhere too quickly. So we're just going to let people move in slowly. And then I think everyone's going to be happy. As well, just to point out, I am conscious we've only got one connection into this area at the moment. That will also be corrected. We'll have something else going on down here, but at the moment I'm just quite happy to allow people to come through and into this part of town. But yeah, we will expand that very shortly. So I'm just going to turn these on now, and that will probably create more of an influx of people coming into the town centre. But yeah, we've got plenty of money to have those live and working. So I think we're going to be quite happy with that. Cool. So while everyone's kind of ticking over nicely over here and Medeiros is going to start building up, what I want to do now is start focusing on this piece of road. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly connect this up. I will be back in 2 seconds because I'm sure you don't want to watch me connect a road together. So yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, guys and girls, so welcome back. So yeah, what we've done is we've now come under this road here, so under our roundabout, and then we've come back up over the other side, and then at the moment I've just used the standard sort of two-lane road with wide sidewalks, just to give us that sort of, it's not a highway, but the one-way roads coming out and through the centre of the town. And eventually this, maybe it'll be a proper two-lane highway coming out and through and across into what will be our midtown vibes, as we said before. But yeah, for now it's just going to eventually come through and up and through. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. And what this has allowed us to do by coming down here, it's allowed us to add this additional connection into our town centre. So the people of Musa Gardens can now get in and into the town centre effectively. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. Again, once we detail this up and have some trees coming through, I think this is going to look really cool. But the reason I wanted to get that done here and now is because I now want to focus on giving our industry people over here a way to get in, out of the city really quickly. So obviously people are going to come in through this road here, they're going to come off, come around this roundabout all the way around, and then if they want to get the goods back out of the city, they've either got to come around this way, out onto the roundabout again and then through, or oh, hang on, my sincerest apologies while we're here. I think I just broke the roundabout while we were working, but that's fine. So yeah, so they were going to have to come all the way back through and then out and round. But I want to give them an opportunity to come off here and then get out of the city using this sort of speed highway area that we've got over here. So what I want to do in order to do that is to bring in the highway ramp, and I just want to bring like a small connection road. So using our freeform tool, I want to use our road guidelines. I want to grab like a sensible area here. So that's going to work really nice for me. And then I just want to find a nice sensible connection back into the highway. So I think 210 is going to be perfect for what we need over in this area. And then the same on this side. Correct our directions. And then I want to grab a two-lane road. So we're just going to grab a standard two-lane road. We need to make sure it's a two-lane road with a lane going in either direction, because people are eventually going to come on and off of this piece of the road. And then I think we're going to be quite happy just curving into this road here. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay for now. So this might only be temporary. We'll see how we get on. It's obviously not the prettiest thing in the world, but hopefully we'll see immediately people start using this to get back on to the outside world by going down this road. So we can see straight away we've got one of our trucks who is now going to be exiting the city without having to use the roundabout area. So this is going to really help the traffic flow around this roundabout, and also just give these people an option for speed to get in and out of the city. So we can see people using it already, which is great. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be really happy with that. Cool, so let's come back over to Medeiros. We want to make sure that we're expanding logically over here. So I want to connect, let's get rid of this road. I want to connect this sort of central area back into what is effectively our connector. So this is our main sort of connector here. So this can be a little bit more residential over in this area. Cool. So I think everyone's going to be very happy indeed with that. So again, making sure we're not zoning too quickly. Just make sure everyone's sort of happy and healthy. Happy days. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot. So let's just have a quick look at our city views. I just want to make sure that we're not overdoing it too early. So electricity is good. We're probably going to have to start thinking about it very soon, but it's good at the moment. Garbage processing needs a bit of looking at, so we're going to look at that in a moment. We looked at education recently, and we know that we're in the green. We're very happy. Healthcare, we've got no sick citizens, so our small healthcare unit over here is working nicely. Our cemetery is currently 13% full. We're not too concerned with that at the moment. We probably will look to bring one into Medeiros, just because it's going to take a while for all these hearses to come out, to get over here and do what they need to do. But for now, we're very happy with the healthcare. One thing I do definitely want to look at is fire safety. So we can see our forestry area is obviously a massive fire hazard, and we've only actually got one fire station over in our vanilla industry area over here, which next episode we're actually going to really work on this, maybe bring it over into this area here and make this a bit more attractive. But yeah, so we've only got one firehouse sitting over there, so you can see our hazard is currently 68%. Now that isn't helped by the entire map being available to us, and the fact that we've got so many trees, but we do have a big fire hazard over here. So the first thing I kind of want to concentrate on is getting another firehouse into our forestry area. So Havelka Timber is going to get its own dedicated firehouse. So similar to what we did in our industry, our generic industry, we're going to bring in this we now know German firehouse from the European pack. So this has got, again, it's quite a nice sort of rural vibe. But yeah, I think that's going to fit the area quite nicely. Sitting opposite our water store as well. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. So yeah, once we decorate this up again with some trees, it's going to fit into the area really, really nicely. Cool. So we know fire's not going to be an issue for a while. Let's just have a quick look at our crime rate. So crime is really good. Crime is not really good. Crime is low, which is even better. So our jail availability is in the green. So we've got 8 spaces available in our jails. So not too bad. But our crime rate, which is the most important figure here, is very low at 7%. So we've obviously got our main sort of police station over here, servicing this whole area. We've got our smaller one over here, which was our church vibe from episode 1. Again, less sort of patrol cars coming out of this one, but it's still doing a good service. So eventually, once we've built up Medeiros, we will add a police station in here as well, and possibly a fire station. But for now, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with what we've got. We don't want to kind of add assets in here until we know what we're doing with it. So yeah, I think overall the city is looking pretty good. Cool. So yeah, let's have a little look at some parking for this area. So I want to bring our rural road out again and just not go far enough, of course. There we go. So I almost want to encircle this football pitch over here. And then I just want to bring in some car parking to service this area. So I think one of these larger car parks, and that's going to be good for me. Just sitting on the edge, so again you can come in, drive through, come all the way up and park over here. Again, we'll decorate this, we'll put some fencing around it and some trees so it's not so obvious from the road, for example. But yeah, I think that's giving off a nice vibe, and you can already see all the cars sort of parking in and around this area. This is bustling already, which is great to see. It's really, really cool. Yeah, so I think that additional bit of parking over there is going to satisfy that area quite nicely. We may even put another one over here and maybe over here, but I think for now we're going to leave that. I think everyone's going to be happy. Cool. So the next job I want to do is start upgrading our roads. So we know from our work that we did over here, we want this to be a 4-lane road encircling the city. But we only actually went as far as the sort of eastern side of Havelka over here. So I now want to upgrade all of this circle road to our 4-lane road, and I want to continue for now at least using the smaller version of the 4-lane road. Now whether I upgrade this section at least further down the line, and maybe here once we bring our trams in, we'll decide that later, but for now I think we're going to be quite happy. So I think let's just dive in and start upgrading these roads. So again, it's just this ring road at the moment. We just want to come through, upgrade everyone. There we go. Making sure that we don't upgrade the wrong roads. Perfect. I'm really careful that I don't upgrade the incorrect roads. Cool. So now we've got this 4-lane road running through the whole of our town. So people can get on and off, go all the way around the city. Yeah, and I think this is just a nice vibe. So if we come back into our farms, you're now getting that nice sort of separation between new concrete and rural sort of sitting within Havelka timber over here. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. Cool. So let's upgrade Medeiros a little bit more. So I want to expand this sort of town centre. I do want to have some space for some paths to come in. So I think we go to there. And I effectively want this to be sort of a real sort of commercial through road into what will eventually become our harbour way over in the west. But yeah, for now, I think we'll just continue to expand Medeiros. So let me just get some more roads plotted in. I think we're going to come out this way for now. So I want to bring this around. And then this can connect in here. And then we can get a few more small homes sitting up against with the ocean views. I think it's going to look quite nice. Cool. So let's see what we get spawning in commercial wise. What are we going to get? We've got another one of these, which we like. We're going to be happy with that. I think we're going to be quite happy with that as well. It's not too bad. I don't want another one of those or those. So we'll delete those. What are we going to get here? Okay, so we'll delete him. We're just going to let that grow up for a little while. But I think Medeiros is starting to take shape. So this will be quite a big town over here. This is going to kind of come up to this sort of area. And then eventually this connector road will come through, maybe have a little roundabout at the end here, hook up into another connector that's going to eventually come round and hook into the rest of this city. And then we'll connect back into the 4-lane road up here and have a nice sort of ring road coming around the coastal vibe. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be quite happy with that. So I like that. So that's going to be historic. We can see what that's going to be already. So let's leave that for now. Cool. So I think we're in a good spot. I don't really want to go too much further. I think next episode we know that we're going to kind of expand Medeiros is going to be our main thing, and then probably get our harbour coming in as well. And then a few more parks, but I think we've made a good start with our town centre vibe over here. Our transport is starting to come in as well. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot to do some detailing. So I'm just going to take it away, do a quick detailing time lapse. The usual, bung in some trees, some paths, etc. But yeah, so leave that with me for 2 seconds. I will be right back. Okay, welcome back, guys. So, I mean, as you would have seen, sort of very minimal detailing going on, but let's have a quick whiz through of what we've done. So you'll see we've thrown in a load of trees around this area. So again, it's our standard Valhaven forestry brush. So quite dense over here. We might change this further on, but yeah, I think for now we just wanted to get a load of trees coming in. So we've covered this area in our trees. Obviously within our town centre we've got our small park, so our friendly neighbourhood park in here, which people are already using. Very nice. And there's people sitting, people playing, etc., which is very cool to see. And we added some additional colour into our tree palette for this area. So we've got some nice purpley pink vibes with some flowers and some purple trees, which I think just add a nice little accent to this area. And then our townhouse, which the tax office, looks quite nice now, sort of throughout within these trees. Yeah, I think this is a really nice vibe for the whole area. And then just minimally some nice small paths coming through, just kind of connecting this whole area up, which is really good. So further down the line we'll probably add a few more sort of bushes coming through here. But yeah, I think for now we're going to be quite happy with this. I did also add a small fence around this area just to give it that additional sort of segregation, make it like a true important asset. And then a pointless path coming through the back. No one's actually going to use it. But again, it just gives it that kind of look that, I don't know, maybe this is like a service entrance or something. And then over by our sports pitches, which is getting a lot of traffic now, we just threw all of our trees down again. So again, you can imagine, apologies, you can imagine coming into this area, driving through, you've got all the nice sort of wooded area around it. You've got our car park, which is now covered by this fence. I've actually lost my fence, which is weird. So let's just bring that back in. Yeah, so we've now got a fence covering the car park, just to give it that segregation, and then the trees around it. Yeah, so I think that's quite a nice vibe. So anyway, I think we're going to leave it there for today. So yeah, we've done quite a lot. I know it probably doesn't seem like much because we've mainly focused on creating this sort of town centre vibe, but we've created the town centre. We've done our sort of sports area over here for people to come and socialise and play their sports. Madeiros is beginning to expand over in the west side of the island. We've made some small changes to our forestry area. So I will detail this up again further down the line once we've added a few more assets into our timber yard over in Havelka. But yeah, so we've added the fire station, which is a nice addition over here. And then we started work on our through highway, so people can now eventually come into the city and not have to go around this roundabout, come all the way in and then through across over into what will eventually be Midtown over here. But more importantly for now, we've given this option for our trucks and workers, etc., to leave the city quickly by using this slip road that comes directly onto the through highway, and then leaves the city without them having to use this very busy roundabout. Cool. So yeah, good episode. I think we will definitely leave it there then. So next time out, Madeiros is going to be completely expanded. We're going to get our our trams coming in to continue this sort of transit hub that we've got going on over here, and then possibly, depending on how we're getting on with time, bring in our harbour and our park in the Meteor area, and then across onto this little island over here. So that's going to be sort of next 1-2 episodes, and then further from that, I want to start using this piece of highway over here. So I'm thinking we create a bit of an intersection over here and then have the highway coming across, maybe coming through onto this part of the island, but eventually allowing us to connect and have an additional sort of way in and out of the city, because this is going to start getting clogged up very quickly. But then also eventually there's a train line running through here, so I'm thinking we want to get a train line coming out across in through into our town centre, maybe a nice little train station over here, and then going back through and out into the Midtown vibe that is going to sit over in this area. So yeah, lots and lots to come. So once again, thank you very much for all the support so far on the channel. It's genuinely overwhelming. Please keep those likes, dislikes, and comments coming. I really love hearing from you guys, what you're liking, what you're not liking, what you'd like to see. I'm still learning, so any feedback is very much appreciated. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying the content, so please get subscribing so you don't miss out on anything. There's plenty more videos to come. But yeah, for now, let's leave it, and we will see you very, very soon. So as always, have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, day, depending on where you are in the world. And thank you all very, very much. I will catch you on the next one.